Hi, this is Kina Kim with PivotalDiscovery.com, and we're here at the ARMA 2010 Spring Seminar entitled The Changing Face of Communication. And we're here with Erin Tiscareno, who is going to share some of her thoughts on how the definition of electronic records has changed since the introduction of social networking. Erin, thanks for joining us.
Thank you. Changing as far as electronic records, social media and electronic records have a huge impact, mostly because people don't realize the impact that Twitter and Facebook and email, voicemail, social media goes so far beyond just posting a picture or tweeting or putting something up in a blog. It's what you do, what you think is normal on a day-to-day basis. And years ago, we thought that email was rude, to be on it all day and spend most of your time on email and on the phone. And now it seems almost a requirement. People are spending, 5 to 6 hours out of their 8-hour workday doing it, if you have an 8-hour workday. Sometimes you go home and you're doing this also. Right. So it has this social networking and media has a huge impact on electronic. As a records manager, you are required to really look into every side of storing records and retention policies and that kind of thing. So a big thing for me is just informing people on their responsibilities in their department. You may not be a records manager, you may not be involved in the records community, or so you think, but you really are the moment you become hired. You're responsible for storing media, you're responsible for, keeping track of emails and how long they're kept and, what content is inside of that. Something you say in an email can make a big difference in e-discovery for a company. The tiniest thing that you think is just a comment to someone else can be discrimination, and you don't even know it. And you could say something on your Facebook, and now people are just trying to look into ways that they can store different Facebook accounts or different logins and things like that that their employees do on their time. But just informing people of their responsibilities and what they have to do in the company and that kind of thing is really important to me. We're, currently moving into an electronic phase, and people say, oh, paper will never go away, it'll never go away, we're always going to store paper. And I'm in the same situation where we scan documents and we put things away for later on such and such drive, but then you still have this paper form. And I think especially my generation, we're looking at, why do we still have this? Why are we wasting money on storage and filing cabinets and things like that when we have a perfectly good electronic form? And the truth is that people aren't keeping track of that. They're not keeping track of where they're electronically storing documents and where they're moving it. So the point to that is that when it comes to social media and networking, if we can't keep track of where we're storing our paper, then how are we going to keep track of where we're storing that at the same time? So for us right now, it's just being involved and getting people involved, getting your senior staff or your executives, getting your legal team, your IT involved, everyone.
Marketing, HR,
yeah, you want to get
sales.
everyone informed so that way when you do come forward saying, oh, we need to spend money on this software to track what we're doing on social networking sites or this software to email archive, then they agree with you and they understand how serious it is, and you're able to document these things. So when we do, right now there isn't anything really, it's more hands-on between the records experts and the IT to electronically store documents. When we do get to that era where we do have software that does everything for us, because we know that doesn't exist, there's nothing that tracks email and then it tracks the social networks plus your paper documents and everything else in one little bundle. That's not available right now. But when it is, we'll be ready. And people will understand the risk and they'll take it seriously. Because you don't want just that Generation X, the 20 to 30, to understand it. You want everyone to understand it. And that means, the lawyers understand the risk, but do they understand how hard it is to store that document on a system? Mm-hmm. And the IT understand how hard it is to store it, but do they know how bad you really need to keep it and what happens when you go through e-discovery and how much money you have to spend?
Mm-hmm. Versus being prepared.
Exactly. So getting them together, I think, is the most important thing. And for me, that's meant, bombarding in on IT's lunch, and which is easy for us because we have a cafeteria where we all sit down together and eat. That's what it takes. You have to really become partners with those people. There has to be that records, legal, IT team that not only understands what you want, But everybody in the company should know your name and should know who you are, so they know to come with you with those kind of problems when they have to confront them.
Great. Well, thank you for joining us today, Erin.
You're welcome.